Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host as always, HarryWilmington, and today we're going to be talking about how you need to stop making speeches and just take bold actions. And so there's a guy that I found on Reddit that's having a situation. Basically, up to this point in his life, he's been very basically afraid to be intimate with girls and hasn't been able to do so because of self-confidence issues. Basically, he'll notice that women like him, like he'll be at a party and he'll see them glancing at him and he won't make a move. And so I used to have the same problem. Where back in the day, I was bad with women in high school and I didn't think they had crushes on me, even though in hindsight they did. And then when I got into my 20s and I was in college, I started to have this weird problem of I could tell that women were giving me signals that indicated that they liked me, but I had no idea what to actually do about it. And so this is the thing that can happen when you're starting to transition. You're starting to realize, you're starting to understand more and more how to attract women, but then you haven't actually had the practice of, you now recognize what it looks like, but you don't know what the next steps are. And so he gave a whole backstory that I'm not going to read into in terms of like, girls think he's handsome, tell him all the time, but he's terrified of being able to make that move. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the part of the message where he talks about his current situation and what he's been going through with this woman. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about some of my commentary on it, as well as the answer that I gave him that I think could also be beneficial for you guys to know. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So here he goes. He says, I have a current situation now where I feel like I'm going down the same path as I did in the past, which lead women to being turned off from me. He says, I'm pretty sure that my coworker likes me. I've gone to dinner and the movies with her a couple of times, and she does little flirty gestures sometimes too. I like her as well, but I've yet to tell her. So to start off with, the fact that he's with a coworker and he's been able to ask her to hang out outside of a job situation, that is not necessarily something that just any woman will do. Like, as much as we think that women are just trying to collect a bunch of guy friends like Pokemon, they got to catch them all. The reality is, in the beginning, when you're asking a woman to do something, she doesn't know which way it's going to go. And I've said on the show before, ultimately as the guy, it is your job to help her determine what avenue you guys are trying to go down. So when you first ask her for that first hangout, and keep in mind, it's actually easier early on in the process that when you first meet a woman to ask her on a date, more so than it's going to be later down the line when you guys have become friends. Because in the beginning, like I said, she doesn't know what direction this is supposed to go in. So they're open to pretty much anything. And early on, if you ask a woman on a date, to her, there's not a lot of pressure because there's no like buildup. So it really is to her, you basically saying, oh, I want to inquire further. If you ask her when you're like 6 months down the line, now she's going to be thinking, why is he asking me out all of a sudden? We've been friends for 6 months. Oh my God, does he like me? Is he trying to get into a relationship? And so this is why it's easier to try to ask those questions early. So when she says yes to those first few things, that's when if she says, hey, so is this a date? You can say, without having to have so much fear, well, yeah, I think you're cool. We're cool. We get along at work. Let's just hang out and have a good time and see what's what. Like, there's no pressure because there's no history there. Once there's history, that's when it becomes a thing of like, well, we've established a friendship and, I think I like the way things are going, because now she doesn't want to ruin a friendship that's already been built and established. So because you've established that friendship relationship, now that could be in jeopardy for her because you're trying to ask her out later. So always if you are meeting a girl and you start, having some kind of banter, whether it's at a job or whether it's at a party or whatever, and you feel that kind of vibe going, ask early on. It's always better, okay? But continuing on, so he says, she sometimes jokes with me and calls me, we'll say punk, it's a P word, but it's punk, in a bantering way, and I feel like this is definitely a dig at my inaction to show her how much I care about her. Well, it's kind of a thing, because again, it's not that early on women are looking to see if you care so much about them, but they are trying to figure out like if you're attracted to them enough to at least ask her out on a date to do an inquiry into what this could possibly be. So when she's saying, oh, you're kind of a P word, you're a punk, whatever, she's establishing that she kind of is getting the idea based on your guys' interaction that you have some kind of crush on her. I've had so many women that have told me in the past that I used to have crushes on it. Oh, I could tell you had a crush on me. And I've talked to other women that have other guys in their circle that they know, oh, this guy, he definitely has a crush on me, but he's not saying anything, so it's all good. So you have to recognize women have great intuition, and as much as you think you're hiding very well the idea that you like her, you're subconsciously doing things on these outings and saying things and connecting with her in a way that she can feel that you like her. So for women, it's frustrating when she can tell that you like her and she actually likes you back, but you're not making the move. Because even if she likes you, she's gonna hint as much as she can to indicate that she wants you to make that move, but you as the guy, she's still waiting for you to actually make that move, because for all you know, she could be wrong. Like, as much as women trust their intuition, until they get that concrete evidence, there's still a part of them that's like, but I don't want to rock the boat because I'm 99% sure this guy has a crush on me, but there's a 1% chance that I could just be messing up, and then I, as the woman, don't want to face rejection. Now, obviously, you as a guy don't want to face rejection either. Unfortunately, guy, of the two sexes, you're going to have to be the one that's going to be able to have to bold yourself up enough to not worry about the consequences of rejection and just do the thing and go after the woman that you want, okay? When you don't do that, then don't expect her to be sitting there expecting like, oh, he's not making a move, so I guess I'll make the move. I've gone a good portion of my life where I was waiting for women that I liked to make a move, and I could tell that they had a crush on me, but they wouldn't make that move, and then the feelings went away, because at the end of the day, women want you to make a move, especially if they know that you like them, all right? Continuing on, he says, the only way I do show her that I care is by helping her whenever she needs it at work. And a lot of guys think that if they help a woman out, that apparently this is the only help that they're getting from anybody, and therefore they are special. I got news for you. Most women, especially attractive women, have guys in their circle that are constantly offering them rides, money, a shoulder to cry on, a place to lay their head if they need to on the sofa, if they're, having a situation with the roommate or whatever, etc., etc. So as special as you think your interaction with her is by helping her at work, she's probably got 4 or 5 other guys that are sporadically stopping by her desk or stopping by her cubicle or whatever job she works at to help her out. It is not seen as a special thing just because you happen to be doing it a bit more, okay? Women kind of expect guys to go out of their way to help them, especially when they're attractive. So don't think that's gonna be a thing that's gonna make you get any extra points with her. Continuing, he says, let's see, that's the only way I help her is when she needs help at work, not by flirting with her, not by showing how much I want to lose myself in her. Okay, so you don't have to get all flowery with this stuff, okay? You like her, you're attracted to her, you want to see what's what. And I say this because so many guys get into this in part of their head where they suddenly have this flowery language for a woman, and they just see like, oh, she's my end-all be-all, and I love her so much. And I think you all get it from those R&B songs where the singers are like, I care for you so much, and I would die for you, and do anything. You ain't got to love a woman on that level. Like, she wants to know that you like her enough to care for her, want to take her out and show her a good time. And then as you get into a relationship, she wants to know you care enough to protect her, to be there for her. But let her be the one that does all the feminine stuff, the flowery language, the oh, I love yous, the I can't live without you. Let her be the one to express that and have those feelings, okay? You as a guy, it's better if you do care for her, but you want to be more practical about stuff, because your practicality is going to be what's going to allow you to be a good leader, to be able to know how to make decisions regardless of the emotion of the situation, if it's going to be beneficial to you too. Like, let her be the one to handle all that stuff, all right? And have those kind of deep feelings. Continuing, he says, the times I do show her a little bit of how I like her, she responds really well, but I just don't do enough of it because of the fear. And she knows it. I don't want to lose interest because of it. Okay, so yeah. So if you're noticing that the times you're showing care, or that you're showing some level of kind of like for her, and her response is that it's actually positive and she likes it, that should give you all you need to do to be able to make the moves you need to make to do a proper investigation into the situation. So again, it's not professing your love. It's saying, hey, I'm doing these things. Why don't I just make this a full date? Why don't I just take her out and have a good time? Why don't I try to get her back to my place and just see what happens? And that's it. Your whole attitude should be, I'm going to try some stuff and see what happens. It shouldn't be, I'm going to try some stuff, but it's got to work, because if it doesn't, I'm going to be rejected and it's going to be the end of the world. I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. Like, dude, at the end of the day, it's not that serious. If this woman doesn't work out, there are plenty of other women on this planet to go after that are sane, that will like you, that it'll work out with. Trust me, I know. I'm 39 at this point. I've dated a lot of women. If one doesn't work out, another one will eventually come along that will hopefully work for you, all right? Continuing on. So then he says, I'm sick of it. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag when I see her at work again and tell her how I truly feel. And how when the holidays are over, how both of me and her are going to get together and watch a movie at my place while I cook dinner for her. All right, there's a lot wrong with this plan, but I'll give you the finer points, okay? For one, men have this idea, because we're logical, and this is where this is an example of how a guy's logical thinking process can actually prove to be wrong, okay? So we think, if I tell a woman how I feel, then she'll know it. And since I'm already sensing from her that she likes me, then she'll let me know at that point whether she likes me or not. And ideally, me telling her my feelings will let her then share her feelings of how much she likes me, and we'll get together. All right? So this sounds like a logical plan that should work, but there's some problems with that logic, okay? Because the reality is, for one, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you feel. It just doesn't. It matters how she feels. And so if you come to her having never really taken her on a thing that you called a date and building up to those feelings, it's going to come to her like it's out of nowhere. It goes from like you guys are just hanging out and friends to like, oh, he's got all these feelings. She hasn't had time to build up to that same level of like. And as I've said before, when you tell a woman your feelings verbally, she's going to read it as 3 times more than you probably mean it. So if you say, hey, I really like you a lot and I want to get to know you more, what that says to her is, oh my God, he loves me. He's deeply head over heels for me and he wants to damn near marry me tomorrow. And that can scare a woman off. Even a woman that was building up interest to like you, for women, it's all about the dance and the buildup. There's got to be a buildup there. It's the journey to getting to love that makes her feel more connected to you, not the actual outright profession of your love to her, okay? So when you don't give a woman that build, you do her and yourself a disservice, which is why I advise you guys not to give these women any more I care for you speeches, I've loved you for like 6 months speeches, oh, I worship the ground you walk on speeches. Because your feelings don't matter. All that matters is, have you built up your connection efficiently enough to where she has feelings, at which point, when that's happened, she will come to you and tell you all the feelings. But more importantly is that you don't have to establish that you have these long, loving, or like feelings for a woman to get her on a freaking date. Again, a date is nothing more than an inquiry. So women are open to inquiries from guys that are coming to them in a proper way and being respectful. Hey, so we've gotten along great and we've had some really good outings. You know, why don't we just make one of these a date? Just to see where it goes, just for fun, just for funsies. When I was in college, this is a true story. When I was in college, I wanted to get practice going on dates because by my second year of college, I hadn't really gone on a lot of dates and I was really nervous and I was scared. And one day I just said to myself, you know what? Let me just get out of this scared thing. I have a few friends of mine that are women and we've never done anything romantic before. Let me just go up to them at random and just say, hey, I want to go on a practice date. Would you mind going with me? And see what happens. That way, if I present it as a practice date, it's no pressure, but and I can see if that works, but if they reject me, then it's no harm, no foul, because I'm saying it's a practice date, so I'm not professing my love to them. And so I went up to like 3 or 4 of my women friends and asked them all, hey, so I'd like to go on a date with you as like a practice date. Is that cool with you? And all 4 of them said yes. Why'd they say yes? Because I'm not having any pressure when I'm asking them on a date. I'm not coming to them saying, hey, I feel all this love for you and I want to take you out. I'm saying, hey, I want to inquire about dating you. And whether it goes beyond that first date or not, it'd be nice to just have a fun evening out, okay? And most women, like I said, will be open to that. And one of those women actually ended up being the woman that I later on had a crush on, that we actually went out for a little bit before I messed it up. And I've done plenty of shows about that. I actually talk about that particular woman in my best-selling ebook, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which, by the way, you can read for free at my website by signing up for my video newsletter with your name and email address. When you fill that out, you'll get instant access to it, and you can read or listen to it today, okay? So that's the introvertdatingsuccess.com. But the point is, I was able to actually get dates off this because I wasn't applying that pressure, because I wasn't coming to them in this emotional state of trying to profess some kind of love. But back in high school, I told like 3 or 4 girls that I wanted to go on a date with. Before I did that, I'd say, oh, I really like you, and I think blah, blah, blah. And then they wouldn't want to go out with me and hang out with me anymore, because that scares women off when you haven't built that, okay? So that's why you don't need to give these speeches anymore. What you need to do is take the proper actions that are going to show them that you are making a bold move to try to get to know them in a deeper way. And I'll get into that in a minute. Continuing on, he says, I'm sick of second guessing myself. If I want to feel the physical affection from a woman again, then I got to be able to take the punch. I got to realize that sometimes in life, you got to take the leap. If she doesn't feel the same way and I overanalyze it, I'll take the L and still be friends with her. I've still got her back no matter what. That's how much I care about her. I've even put off getting a number from a girl who really vibed with me at the party because I just want her. Yo. No, you have not gone on an actual date with this woman yet. And so the worst thing guys do is they get one-itis. And one-itis is when you have so much affection for one girl that you're putting all your time and effort into this one girl who's not even your girlfriend yet and has not even agreed to a date yet. So as much as you think, hey, I only need to talk to this one girl The reality is women like men that they know can get other women. I've talked about that on the show before too. I've had several instances where girls I was trying to date were kind of wishy-washy, and then once they found out that I possibly had other interests, then they wanted someone to get on board with my program. And that's because women don't want a guy that they don't think other women want, okay? They want a guy that is wanted by others but won't cheat on them should she end up getting him, all right? So this is why you should still get that number. You should still take her out. If anything, if she starts wondering why you don't have as much time for her, you can say, oh, I got other plans or something. For all you know, that could actually make this girl at work suddenly want to like you a lot more, okay? But more to the point, all this is to say this, is that women aren't necessarily looking for you to profess things, but they are looking for you as the guy to risk rejection by making moves that could get you rejected to try to get her, okay? Because women respect that. Women like a guy that's going after what he wants, that is bold, that is daring, that is willing to take a chance. That is an example of a masculine character trait that women oftentimes wish they could do. Like, I've heard so many women that said that they will not approach a guy because for them, rejection is gonna be the worst thing ever. They don't wanna, think about a woman's ego, okay? Think about this. In a woman's head, she is built, she's curvy, she's sensual, she's sexy, and she is like the finest thing ever. Her getting rejected is going to have her ego have to face the fact that not every single person views her in the high way that she does. So she's not gonna wanna risk that ego hit of her making a move and it's like, oh my God, it's not gonna be for them just like a rejection. Like I said, I told you, women feel things 3 times as much as guys do. So a rejection for her is basically a commentary on her looks, on her person, or herself as a human being, and on how people are going to wanna be with her in the world. And so that's why she's more apt to let the guy do that because, yeah, we're going to face the rejection and it's going to hurt. But if you train yourself enough, it's not going to hurt nearly as much to you in the long run because you'll just be like, well, there's others out there and that sucked, but she doesn't know what she's missing on to the next. But for women, it's a lot harder, okay? So I wrote this guy back. And this is, I'll tell you what I said and I'll stop here and there. But I said, here's the thought to consider. Telling her your feelings may not be the best way to go. Women can get away with verbalizing their feelings, but men err better when they're doing actions that indicate like. For some reason, men verbalizing their feelings more often than not doesn't work in our favor. And yes, movies, TV, and love songs have been lying to you about this the whole time. And because, like I said, women are the ones that are typically more verbal with their feelings, and so that is an established feminine trait. So when you come to them and you profess your love to them it's almost like another woman coming to them and professing love. Are you trying to be a woman in her life and a girl best friend? Or are you trying to be that masculine figure that can eventually date her, okay? Well, for women, when they're looking at men, what they've established for themselves is that men that are masculine are guys that are action-oriented. So you doing actions to show that you want to take her out and actions to show you care will more often than not work a lot better than you verbalizing your feelings. Now, you guys might be saying, what about women that are saying, well, I want a guy that's going to emote and be able to tell me how he feels? What she's really saying is, I want a guy that when I come to him and tell him my feelings will not like tease me for it, will be able to empathize with me, and will be able to give me the confirmation that I need that makes me feel like he likes me. And that doesn't always have to be verbal, but it doesn't have to also be like a flowery speech. If she comes to you and says, hey babe, I just really love you so much and I care for you and I think that we've established a great relationship and I just love you so much, you don't have to do the same back. You could be like, thanks, baby. You know what? I think you're great too, and I'm just so happy you're in my life. That's it. That's all you got to do. That little phrase or sentence will keep her on cloud 9 for a long ass time. All right? So continuing on, I say, women like men who take action. It shows a level of boldness and daring that women find attractive, more so than trying to use flowery language to express yourself. That can come later once you actually won her over. And even then, I'd still keep the flowery language towards women to a minimum, okay? Now, here's what I said to him. I said, for now, these are examples of making bold moves to a woman that will make her feel like, oh, he must like me on a higher level because he's doing these moves that indicate that these actions, he's trying to escalate them. Inviting her over to your place. Huge sign that you want her. I made the mistake in college of not being aware that Netflix and dinner at my place was indicative of wanting physical action. But I actually had a woman that took me up on that offer and came over. Had I known back then what that meant, I would have been like, oh crap, that means she wants to do some stuff. Let me get my place rearranged a lot better. But I did not, and then that's also talked about in the book as well, okay? But yeah, you inviting her to her place, she's gonna know, oh, he probably likes me because he's inviting me over. Using flirty language and innuendo. So again, You don't have to be all flowery, because flowery language is also very too serious for the situation. Like, women want a guy that's going to be able to play with them and joke with them while at the same time showing that he wants her physically. So this is where flirty language and sexual innuendos come into play. Those are things that are fun and nice verbal plays on words that make women, A, realize how intelligent you are to be able to do that, and also make them feel like you're going to be a sexy, fun play partner versus like that serious, stoic, oh, I got to make this whole relationship so serious, like that's not fun for women either. Number 3, breaking the touch barrier with her after, of course, she's broken it with you. You always want to make sure that you're establishing touch with her by first seeing how she touches you. You know, a woman that's gone on a good one or two dates with you will start touching your shoulder or start trying to walk close to you or playfully hitting you when she's telling stories. That's the cue for, hey, stupid, I am ready for you to touch me in those same ways now. And you typically want to mirror what she's doing with touch and then upgrade it just a little bit more so she can feel comfortable and realize, oh, he's signaling that he wants an upgrade in his touch. Let me touch him back in kind, all right? Another thing I said sitting close to her on a date, like at the restaurant. For example, you know, I like to do the thing where usually people sit across from each other on dates. Usually by the second or third date, if we get like a booth somewhere, I'll sit next to her in the booth. That is establishing, hey, I'm trying to get closer to you. I want to feel your shoulder on me. I want to make sure that we're building a physical connection as much as an intellectual connection, all right? Women will read that. Going in for a kiss. That is a hard thing that a lot of guys are afraid of. They're like, oh, I want to wait for the woman to try to kiss me first. No matter how much she's established touch first and try to hit you in the shoulder and arm, dyslexia, most women are still going to want you as the guy to go for the kiss. And so, but when you make that move, that's definitely going to let her know that you like her. Now, the fun part about all this stuff is that it's not that she has to know that you like her at 100%. And when you kiss her or make these physical things, part of her is going to be like, well, does he like me because of me? Or does he like me because I'm allowing him to touch me? Is he just about getting physical, in physical situations with me? But that ambiguity of her not being too sure, that will actually help you in your quest to try to fully attract her, because then she's going to have to do things to try to prove to herself that you like her beyond that physical stuff. But the point is, you still got to do it. You still got to make those moves that are these masculine moves that let her know that you're liking her for some way and some reason, all right? And then I also said making progressive touch moves that lead to the bedroom, okay? So you got to make those moves, make those things that let her know you want to take things to these next levels, and these are actions you do. Not words you got to say, but actions you can do that will make her feel like you're bold enough to make those moves, and also that you really like her on a level beyond just this friendship thing. Then I ended it with her response to you doing these actions will let you know if she's on board with you. So what most guys think is, okay, if I tell her how I feel, then the response I get from her verbally is all I need. But again, you could be shooting yourself in the foot, because a woman could have been building like towards you, and then you come to her with the, hey, I like you speech, do you like me speech? And if she's at like, say, 55%, well, she needs to build to 90% to have fully established feelings, but you're cutting her off at 55, asking her how she feels right now. And right now, she might be, well, like, I'm not all the way there yet, so this isn't going to work out. I got to dump him. But this is why you need to do actions, because if you do an action, it's very easy to get a quick read on where she's at. First, for example, you might be with a woman and you're making out with her. That's a 70% level. You might try to go to take her pants off and she moves your hand. Up, okay. That's more of a 75% level move, and she's not there yet, but she's still cool at 70%. So your actions will allow you to get a read on her response to you, is going to let you know where she's at in the feelings process. Whether it's you go for that first kiss and she rejects it, but then the second date you guys go on, she fully takes the kiss in, that lets you know, okay, her like went from 51% to 59%. I got to kiss her. Awesome, okay? And that goes without having to have these weird, awkward conversations, because when you present the conversation, guy, I'm gonna be honest, it gets awkward real quick. Women start feeling weird, like he's bringing up language and feelings and stuff, and I'm not there yet, so now I gotta have this weird speech to him about, well, I like you in this level, but we're still more like friends, and now you're more like a brother, or I'm not quite there yet, so I just, like, women don't wanna have those conversations unless they're at the part where they are ready to have the conversation, at which point they will bring it to your attention, which I keep saying on this show. So then he says, more importantly, though, she's going through these steps. More importantly, though, going through these steps allows her to feel a journey happening with you that can naturally progress to her convincing herself that she has feelings for you. You telling her your feelings isn't going to suddenly muster up feelings in her for you on the spot. That's why you have to do a gradual build versus a tell her your feelings and hop and hope hers pop up type of scenario, okay? So all this is to say is this, guys. All these speeches you want to give, all these logical reasonings you want to give to her as to why you care so much about her and why, based on all these feelings, she should agree to a date, It really is putting the cart before the horse. You ask for the date first to then build up and establish feelings. You don't go in feelings and then hope that's going to allow you to get a date. More often than not, it's going to chase off a woman, even one that was interested in you. Now, if you need help on figuring out how to not feel so anxious and how to be able to get more used to doing actions that will help you get to where you want to go versus having this idea of these speeches you got to give, go to my website, introvertdatingsuccess.com, click on the coaching tab if you want to sign up for one-on-one coaching, or you can click on the products tab and download my program. For example, I have the Introvert Dating Success Program, which takes you through the A's through Z's of how to meet, greet, attract, date, and land, and keep the women of your dreams as an introvert, okay? If that's something you've been struggling with, then definitely go to the website, check out the sales page for that. If you like it, you can get it today. You can also get some of the other programs, eBooks, audiobooks, and stuff that I have available at the website, all of which is designed to help you date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. So that's all I got for today's show. If you guys have a topic or a question you want me to answer on one of these shows, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Right now, we're doing 25 shows in a row per day up until Christmas. And so if you have a question in that time, just write me. Also, if you want to show support for this show, I really appreciate it if you sign up for my YouTube channel at youtube.com/HarryWilmington. You can also send a monetary support by sending me a Cash App at $HarryWilmington. That's all I got for today, guys. I'm Harry Wilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.